Off air? No, we're not, folks. We're on the air. It's Keithy Broom here, live from Down Under, where everybody wants to come and live in Australia. It's the only place because it's sunshine 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, not really, but it's very warm and it's a great climate to relax and run an online business from. But you can be anywhere to run an online business as long as you've got one of these. And most of the members of our company up behind me, Swiss Skull Global. That's what we're all about. Global, all around this big round planet. It's not flat, it's round. No matter what books you've read, the whole planet is for walking around. So look at the people we've got on the panel tonight. We've got the owner of the company. We've got our number one affiliate. We've got international people from England, where there's just been a meeting. We'll talk to them in a second. The US, David there, and Paul on the Gold Coast. So welcome everybody to, this is Swiss Gold Global Australia number 8, lucky number 7+1, or the Chinese favourite number is 8. We've got a lot of luck in this company. We've got a lot of things happening this week. Every week there's something happening, so we're going to get straight into it. So I'm just going to quick intro of everybody, and we'll just throw to Claudia on your camera, because you've got two passers-by, or two people who just wandered in the camera shot. But can you introduce those people there, Claudia? Because one or two of them look familiar. Can you go ahead and introduce everybody?
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm here with two wonderful people, as you see. You know, people just come and pop in because they slept here because we had this event yesterday, of course, last night. And so they're still here, which is really great. So we have Bitcoin Granny next to me. Bitcoin Granny, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm from Manchester, north of England.
You may want to interview her a little bit.
Sorry?
What's your real name?
Gretchen. Gretchen is my name.
Oh, Gretchen.
But my name is Mary, so I'm called Mary the Bitcoin Granny.
Mary Bitcoin Granny.
Yes. And now Prem gave me that name. Prem gave me that name. It's all his fault.
You can't trust Prem. He's a good man. He's a good man. Who else you got there, Claudia?
Morning, Kathy. Is that how you say the name?
Keithy, yeah. But,
hello, I just can't hear you.
Yeah, I understand the northern accent, mate. Go ahead. How are you?
Yes. How are you doing? My name's Tony Murta. I'm here with these, as you can see, most wonderful people. And Mary is only 85 years young. And she lives out in the country and she keeps chickens. But she's a very intelligent lady. I don't hold that against her. But I've been on, listened to your hangouts on a couple of 3 occasions. And I found it very informative and most enjoyable. And you're the man that can put it over and explain things in simple detail. And may it carry on that way. And we had a great evening yesterday evening and a great meeting there with Bill and Prem and, of course, the wonderful Claudia here. And it's very informative and very forward-looking, and things are really going. I'm sorry I'm going on a bit, but there you go. That's how it is. Thank you for listening, and I'll hope to speak or see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you very much, mate. Great introduction from Bitcoin Granny. If you haven't heard of this lady, she's 85 years young, and she is into Bitcoin. So what does that mean for everyone else on the planet? Get into Bitcoin, because of Mary Bitcoin Granny from the north of England at 85 can be doing her sums, buying and mining contracts, and really getting excited and going to meetings. Then there really is no excuse, is it? Fantastic. That's awesome. Claudia, just to throw to you, how do you enjoy the meeting yesterday? How many people were there, just quickly?
Well, it was really, really great, the meeting. I think there was no space for another person there. It was just, I mean, it was really, every seat was full. So I didn't actually expect to have it so full. We had to pull out more chairs and really we did even block the firewall there. So many people we had in there. It was really great, it was crowded. I think the people really enjoyed it. They liked it. They learned certainly new stuff. I mean, it was wonderful to hear wonderful to listen, of course, to Dr. Marco Crone from Genesis Mining, to have all those people here, recognition. So it was wonderful. And just to a little note. Bitcoin Granny is not just Bitcoin Granny; it's also Ethereum Granny. It's also Dash Granny. So gold and silver Granny. So just everyone don't want to underestimate here. She has a bigger plan.
That's awesome. Very, very good indeed. Thank you very much, ladies and the gentleman, Tony. Now we'll throw to David Lee over in the US. It's a little after 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, we obviously go to the same barber, David, which is a good thing. Now, thank you very much for coming on, getting up really early. I know you've got a lot of passion. You're in the States. You're in Dallas, is that right?
I'm actually in a suburb of Dallas. It's McKinney, so just about 30 minutes outside of Dallas, yes.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, thanks very much for getting up early. I know you've got some events coming on, so this is the first time you've been on one of our Hangouts. So can you just give us maybe a 1-minute rundown on yourself, how you came across Swiss Gold Global, and then just lead into what's happening in Dallas. You've got another get-together in another city. Is that Austin, Texas? Is that Austin, or is it somewhere else?
We actually have three major events that we're hosting here in the U.S., where we're hosting, of course, the president of our company, along with our number one income owner, Claudia, as you all know. So maybe you have some guests or some viewers who are seeing this for the first time. My name is David Lee. I'm out of McKinney, Texas, here in the U.S. And Dr. Adrian Blue with Team Wacoa introduced me to this company. And I got to tell you, I work in corporate America. I earn a really good salary. So does my wife. For what we do, we work with the leadership teams in our respective companies. But Dr. Adrian Blue shared this opportunity with us and shared with us something that we knew we simply couldn't do in corporate America. And that's to position ourselves to be able to leave an inheritance, a real tangible inheritance to our children by way of, obtaining gold and silver. And honestly, Keithy, he really didn't talk with us much about the cryptocurrency end of the business when he originally pitched this. So it wasn't until maybe about a month or so later, but once my eyes were open, the rest was history. So just glad to be involved. We got Dallas, Texas, which is coming up on October the 14th, major event, major launch. On the 21st, we're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where Bill and Claudia will be there, laying down groundwork to establish this company, put in some good roots here internationally. And then from there, you probably have heard that the hurricanes blew through this country not too long ago. Well, instead of going to Florida, which is where we originally were going to go, we changed that venue because we have some inroads there in Connecticut. And so Bill and Claudia are going to be really spearheading this initiative there in Connecticut on the 28th. So anyone who's anywhere within driving distance of any of those places, meet us there. We'd love to have you.
Okay, awesome. That sounds like full steam ahead. We're all parts of the globe, which is very, very exciting. Great to have you on, David, and we'll get back to you shortly. Now, I just want to quickly go to Paul on the Gold Coast. Evening, Paul. Always good to have you on, mate. How's things been for you in the last week or so? You couldn't make it last week. Last couple of weeks, how have things been going for you, mate?
Yeah, pretty exciting, Keith. And this Ethereum contracts, because that's definitely the only thing we can actually get our head around. Interesting to hear what Claudia was talking about with Dash before. I guess we better start looking at that. It is very interesting that a lot of people are starting to warm to cryptocurrency. Every time you pick up a paper on the Gold Coast, there's always a little snippet in there about cryptocurrency coming into, well, whether it's into real estate or whether it's into schools. There was one today about pocket money. Don't tell your kids to put their money into banks, put it into e-wallets. Very interesting little story about that. So yeah, it's all happening down here on the Gold Coast.
Very good. That's very interesting, isn't it? Some people with a bit of advanced thinking telling kids to open an e-wallet instead of a bank account. Bill, you'd love that, mate. On last week, you may have seen a couple of posts I put out. Paul and I went to see a guy who's starting, his company name is Crypto Kiosk with a K, Crypto with a K Kiosk. And he purpose-made booths to go into hotels, shopping centres, where you walk in and and he's also planning a mobile van to go to major events with a kiosk, a vending machine inside that, a mobile ATM for Bitcoin. So pretty exciting things happening. And as Paul says, it's all starting to spook ahead. What are you trying? The future of money. Oh, there it is there. Now that's the outline of the booth. The glass door there, as soon as you close it, it automatically frosts over, so you can't see in there. It's pretty amazing technology they're coming up with. So thank you for that, Paul. Bill, always a pleasure to have you on, mate. And I know you've got to rush off, so you've probably only got about 15 minutes. There's a lot going on in our space with supply and Genesis mining. Can you just sort of cover off the basics of what happened yesterday and your meetings with Genesis for all the people, obviously, that are super keen? Maybe if Bitcoin is not available just yet, the options of that Dash coin coming in. And I'm buying those every week. So go ahead, Bill, and give us an update if you would mind, please.
Well, good evening to you, Keithy. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Nice to see Dr. David there, of course, and Paul and the Bitcoin Granny, and also Tony that joined us there with Claudia. We had a great day yesterday, and I was just listening to what Paul had to say regarding the the advice for children opening up a wallet rather than a bank account. I remember growing up as a young boy in Australia. The first thing you did when you went to school, pretty much kids opened up bank accounts. You may recall that, actually. You got a Commonwealth bank account, and pretty much you're indoctrinated to have one bank account for the rest of your life in one sense. I think it's actually the kids telling the parents you should open up a Bitcoin wallet or a crypto wallet rather than the other way around, to be quite honest. That it's I look at the crowd yesterday we had here near Birmingham in the UK, and the range of age. You have Bitcoin Granny, 85 years young, but I don't think she may have been the oldest there, ranging right down to, I wouldn't say teenager, but certainly maybe 18, 19 years of age, which is absolutely fantastic. And to be open-minded, I think this is the most important thing, is to be open-minded to receive new information. We are enslaved to a system because consciously we are closed off. Systems and, let's say, regimes in one sense only exist because people become puppets in one sense. We don't educate ourselves. We don't think outside the box. So for me, going to the US is really an important trip, because I know Dr. David there is very, very passionate, as is Dr. Blue, about the event. In fact, Dr. Blue Wakova is their organization they have there. It's all about the eradication of poverty. But how do you eradicate poverty? It's through education. What comes first? Is it the wealth that comes first, or is it the change of mindset? So for me, Swiss Gold Global is more than just cryptocurrency. It's more than just gold and silver. It's about a consciousness shift. It's about entertaining a new idea of how to think about wealth and prosperity. That's the biggest shift, to be quite honest. And I'm very, very passionate about that. Yesterday was a great day. I mean, it would have been nice to, you should probably ask Bitcoin Granny how she thought the day went rather than myself. I'm the one that was speaking, so it's always good to get direct feedback, and she's pretty direct. We had dinner afterwards last night with her. But it was a great day. We had Dr. Marco Crone come in from Genesis Mining. And, the one thing that really stood out from Dr. Crone, I mean, a good man, integrity, purpose-driven, vision. Yes, we have challenges with the Bitcoin equipment or hardware suppliers right now, but that's just a testament to that you're in the right sector. The demand for this product, for these services is astronomical at the moment, and trying to keep up with that demand and keep up with the supply is very, very, very challenging. But I can tell you, they are a great company. I'm very honored that we're able to work together directly with Genesis Mining and actually provide products and services to you. And we're going to have future meetings in the next days. I've got to go to Dubai on Wednesday, and when I come back from Dubai, a couple of days after, they'll be heading to meet Dr. David in Dallas, which I look forward to. But there's lots of things happening right now. We spoke yesterday about also, of course, when I'm in the US, I've got to head off to Orange County. We're having a meeting there. There's discussions regarding gold-backed token, those types of things from a regulated fund. So we have lots of things on the drawing board, which is going to be very unique to Swiss Gold Global, which is very, very, very exciting. But when it comes to Bitcoin mining, you heard Dr. Crone yesterday. Did you see the presentation at all yesterday, Keithy?
Yeah, I watched Facebook Live was going, so I managed to get most of when Dr. Marcus was on.
Okay, and so you probably heard direct from him. It's probably not what we wanted to hear, of course, because we all want to sell Bitcoin contracts. But, diversification is a key. I mean, we'll get the contracts back. There's no question about that. It's just a matter of time. But to earn Ether or Ethereum, and we'll get Monero back online. We're going to get Dashcoin back online in the near future as well. When these coins come back, and it's great to have a portfolio. It's great to have a portfolio of non-correlated assets. And what I mean by that is, you don't have all your eggs in the one basket. So having Bitcoin is fantastic. Having some Ethereum is fantastic. Having some Dashcoin is fantastic. Having a bit of gold and silver is fantastic, as Bitcoin Granny actually does. So with our platform, you have the ability to do that. The most important ability that you have is through the affiliate program also, and we spoke about this yesterday, is that for $50 a month, of which 25% is really, in one sense, an asset, it's either crypto mining or it's silver, you own an international business. Enroll 5 people, you have your money back, duplicate that, you're getting 4 times your monetary return, which you can convert directly back into cryptocurrency mining or convert directly back into gold and silver. So you're getting your gold and silver for free, you're actually getting your cryptocurrency for free. You're building wealth. This is the whole purpose of Swiss Gold Global. It takes a bit to understand, it takes leadership and coaching, which you do a fantastic job, Keithy, and Dr. Lee and Claudia, of course, and Paul, for being on these calls and hosting these particular calls. But this is truly what we're about. Yes, in a disruptive technology like cryptocurrency, there's going to be changes. It's going to be a rough ride. But I love rough rides. It means you're in the right sector. If it was all too easy, everyone would be there. But people just, how many people know about Bitcoin? I'm sure Dr. David, when he speaks a bit later, he'll probably say when he drives around Dallas and throughout the US, and I know yourself up in the Gold Coast, Keithy, you're a bit of a master of this. If you go and get your hair cut, or you go and pay for your groceries, if you ask the person, do you accept Bitcoin for payment? 99.9% will probably say to you, what is Bitcoin? Correct? Yeah. So, the opportunity is, they've got no idea. So the opportunity is absolutely enormous out there, absolutely enormous. And, so we're really just starting out. And we see the regulatory changes. A lot of people had a lot of fear. This is the thing, most people are driven by emotions. It's fear and greed. So Bitcoin price is going up, the greed kicks in, big smiles on the face. They look at their phone on their app the next moment, they see Bitcoin price has gone down, the fear's kicked in, and they've gone from a smile to a gloomy looking face. We've got to get over that, okay? Have a longer term vision. Understand what you're getting yourself engaged in. Building wealth is a long-term process. Of course, we all want to get rich quick. But it doesn't, that rarely happens to most people. And I can go back to the 1990s, Keithy, and probably you can too, so I think you and I are the same age. I think you're a bit older than me, actually, if I remember correctly. And I remember the 1990s during the dot-com boom, and Paul will certainly remember this. The broker would ring you and say, put a bit of money into this particular stock, and it was probably at 10 cents. He's telling you it's going to go to $1.50, so the greed kicks in. You buy so much of the stock, and you've had a bit of luck. It went your way, but when the market changed and it collapsed, there was no buyers for these stocks. I did well initially, but when the market changed, it collapsed. So what I'm saying about this is that the regulatory changes will have an effect. We're going to see a lot of changes in this space over the next months and even coming years. And we saw China actually pulling the, they made some announcements then regarding ICOs, of course, and that may have been one of the indications why Bitcoin price came back below the 3,000 mark. Maybe, I don't know. And then, of course, Japan came out and said we're going to, basically they said China's not going to do it. We're going to regulate 11 exchanges by such and such, and they want to be the Asian star of cryptocurrency. But then, when China saw that, of course, they said, well, by the 1st of October or November, I think it was, we're going to regulate as well. So, they don't want to lose this market share. We even see in Australia, Keithy, up until June or July this year, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin, you had to pay your 10% GST or 10% added value tax, which means that the government did not recognize it as a currency. But they were missing out on huge development, huge business, so they changed that now. Because otherwise you're double dipping on taxes. I have my Bitcoins, go and pay for my groceries. I paid 10% tax on my Bitcoin, then I paid another 10% tax on top of that for my groceries. It doesn't work that way. So now the government in Australia has actually changed that. So they've removed that 10% GST when you buy a Bitcoin, which means they now recognize it as a currency, which is a major step. It's small steps, but it's a major step in the right direction. So the reason I'm speaking about this is just to let people know that you are involved with one of the greatest developments in mankind. This is a game changer for humanity, just like the internet, just like maybe Steve Jobs and the iPhone, maybe in one sense, he affected many people across all continents. This thing of cryptocurrency is a game changer. But why gold and silver? Oh, gold and silver, as per part of our presentation yesterday, is the cornerstone. If you look at the wealth pyramid, of any particular country or even the world, gold is the cornerstone of that particular huge pyramid. And on top of it, you have 700 trillion or quadrillion, whatever it is, in derivatives. But it's all held up by a central bank of a bit of gold. So don't, I say this to people because gold is very, very, very liquid. And it's real wealth. It's been money for thousands of years. And we had people there yesterday who have been, I would say, pretty much real estate tycoons, a bit like Australia. We've had a huge run in real estate in Australia for a long time. And on paper wealth, the wealth looks great, But of course, he wants to sell his properties and you can't sell them. There's no buyers there at the moment for the price that he actually wants. And that really tests where your wealth is when you come to that sort of status, doesn't it? So Swiss Gold Global is really about all those things. It's about the education. It's about preserving wealth through gold and silver. And it's been engaged in a new technology called cryptocurrency, where you can get a fantastic return in one sense on your fiat money, whether it's Aussie dollars or the US dollars, by being engaged into Bitcoin. Currently, we don't have those contracts available. But with that said, we pushed a significant amount of Bitcoin mining on Saturday. Did you get any Bitcoin mining bonuses on Saturday, Keithy or Paul or Dr. David? You may have to check that, but yeah. Anyway, we pushed a lot of Bitcoin mining through on Saturday, which was fantastic and made a lot of people happy from the pre-orders and things. And there's still a bit more to go through, but primarily, you've seen the videos on the mining farms that I've been and visited, of course, and this is a significant thing, these mining farms. It's not like you just plug a computer in and you start mining Bitcoins. I mean, you're talking about tens upon tens of millions of dollars of investment, and there's always a lag time for this. But as you can see right now, just getting the hardware, because Bitcoin mining requires special rigs and boards, etc. to actually mine it. So the Ethereum is a fantastic way to go to start building up your Ether. Now, we spoke about last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, Keithy, about the wallets in the back end that you'll be able to change between the different currencies. Now, we actually deployed it, and then we had a technical issue between Genesis and us, so we had to unemploy it, deploy it in one sense. But you'll probably find the next couple of days it's going to come out again. Well, you'll be able to mine for, of course, Zcash. You'll be able to mine for, of course, Ethereum. And you'll be able to select if you want to get paid out in Bitcoin, or you want to get paid out, if you're mining for Ethereum, you want to get paid out in Bitcoin, and maybe you want to get paid out in Dash. You'll have full flexibility on your wallet. So this was meant to be out a couple of weeks ago, but we tested it. It worked. When we went live, it didn't work. Murphy's Law. These things happen. But now we're getting very close to bringing that out again. And then, of course, I know we presented yesterday the mobile app. So meant to be already out Now, they're looking fantastic. People can already download them, actually, as a beta version by going to, maybe Claudia touches on it. I didn't even know it myself. She's on the iPhone version. It's available as well, the iOS. It's not fully functional, but it's there. You can see a bit of it. And but over the next, I would say the end of this month, people will be able to enroll. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in parts of Australia, in the outback where maybe the internet's not so good, or maybe you're in Nigeria or Ghana, or parts of Asia, where your internet is not so good, but you live on the phone using data, you'll be able to enroll directly from your phone, which is absolutely fantastic. You'll be able to see what your daily payout is directly from your phone. You'll be able to see what your gold and silver holdings are directly from your phone. So this is good news. It's getting very close to being pushed, but we still have a few more weeks of development to polish it a bit. And this will be the first phase. And then, of course, we want to test everything's function. Then we want to add more features and things like that. So there is a lot happening in the space right now, Keithy.
Now, when you in your dealings with Genesis Mining over the last week or two, with the shortage of contracts in Bitcoin and the other coins not being available, do they give you sort of any indication of how many new farms are currently building? Just to give the members a sort of a broad idea, have they got another 5 mining farms almost complete, or they have a project for 10 or 15? I know they have multiple sites around the world. Did they give you any indication in that way, Bill?
Yeah, well, we speak quite a bit about, let's say, Sweden, but they don't like a lot of information to go too public, to be quite honest, Keithy, on the privacy side of things. But, certainly Sweden is coming online. And, each one of those particular halls is 3,500 square meters, which is a damn big hall in one sense. I mean, if you look at the size of the one in Iceland where I visited, and Claudia was also there as well, it was a huge hall. And I actually, only a few weeks ago, I visited a different company's mining farm in Eastern Europe. It's an old Russian coal electrical power plant. It was very interesting visiting it, actually. I actually bought mining rigs there myself probably 12, 18 months ago, whatever it was, just as a test case about this cryptocurrency. So I hadn't actually been there. My engineers had been there, but I hadn't flown there myself. So I flew in there and drove a few hours across these roads and went to this ex-Russian coal mine power plant. Very, very interesting, huge place. But the coal mining part is inactive, but it's now operated by hydroelectricity part of it, and that's what these mining farms actually operating. In fact, they had huge container ships all fitted out with actually mining rigs, where my mining rigs actually were. And I went there and thought, well, maybe this is a good backup plan. This is a possibility where we can tap into plan B and C as an example. But I came to realize, even though it's doing very well for me there, they are not at the league where Genesis Mining, nowhere near it, not comparable. I mean, you go to a Genesis Mining, just the first thing, of course, is, everyone's just interested in what their payout is. If you're mining for Bitcoin, what's the maintenance fee? Okay, what does it cost for mining? Okay, one of the biggest variables, of course, for mining cryptocurrencies is electricity. I doubt, I am yet to be convinced anyone else in the world can mine for Bitcoin and other coins as cheap as, or more, probably cheap is not the right word, cost efficient as Genesis Mining. Their technology, when you walk into their mining farms, I mean, you got tens of thousands of rigs humming like a huge beehive. You can hardly hear yourself. Yet on their phone application type thing, you got, I don't know how many boards would be there. You got tens of thousands of rigs, and each board maybe have 6 to 8 boards inside those rigs. If one goes out, they know straight away. I mean, this is a sophisticated system, So it takes time to build these, Keithy, to answer your question indirectly in one sense. But it's in their interest to build it and keep. That's their business. That's their core business, of course, as we see it. So, of course, they want to service their members as well. And their members don't have it available either. And even though we had Bitcoin pushed on Saturday to many of our members around the world, a significant amount, there's none issued for Genesis. So we're very honoured and privileged that they supported our members like that. I think it's a great thing. It just shows the respect that they have for us, the respect and trust that we have with them as well. So it's a fast moving spaceship in that sense, and you got to hold on to your your trousers in one sense, because it's moving so fast. And yes, it is rough and things aren't perfect. But you know what? You're in the right sector. You're with the right people. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to gain from it. And I just congratulate everyone for being here, for being open-minded to be engaged in something like this. But most importantly, don't put unnecessary money at risk. Protect yourselves and your family first. Okay, but you've got to be engaged in this to learn to prosper.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting what you said just then, Bill, which a lot of the members have been wondering about. If you have a contingency of a plan B or a plan C, and you've sort of raised that I guess your concerns that other businesses that you have approached or know of aren't sort of in the same efficient business-minded league as Genesis Mining. And that obviously to protect the members of Swiss Gold Global, to make sure we're partnered with the right type of people is very, very important to everybody's business. If Dash is coming online and Zcash is coming back and we've got Ethereum, and then within the next month or so, or 2 months or whatever it may be for Bitcoin, and then Monero, and then we've got Litecoin, we do have a potential of 6 products that we can diversify by building up slowly. So obviously yours on the lookout for plan B and C, Bill. There's no question about that.
Well, you know, to me, it's all about sustainability, Keithy. It's all about sustainability, okay, and transparency to our members. Okay, our communication could have been better. There's no question about that. But the communication was a bit slow from Genesis. Therefore, our communication to you was even slower. So that wasn't perfect. I'll be honest about that. But we're here to do the right thing. But it's all about sustainability. I mean, many of you people, you know, you've been involved with different things, and they come and they go. We've been around for a long time. For us, it's all about sustainability, Keithy, and to make sure that we do the right thing by our members around the world. That's really the key thing. And yes, I have people from around the world, from different, even different continents, contacting us, saying we can sell you mining or this and that. But you know what? I ask them what their pay is. I ask them what the maintenance fees are. Some of these people, they don't reveal that. You know, they're just not competitive to that thing. Now, you might say, well, maybe that's better to go with someone that has a plan B to at least give you people some Bitcoin mining. But I don't think that way. I believe when the pressure's on, don't panic. That's when you've got to become calm. That's when you've got to become calm. You've got to have a plan, and you don't react to situations. It's very easy to react to things and then want to buy it from here or buy it from there. But you know what? I don't operate that way. I'm thinking longer term. I'm thinking of sustainability, and I'm thinking that I want to make sure that we do the right thing by our members. Now, the members might be smacking me in the head right now, saying, "Well, you should get us some Bitcoin from somewhere else. That would be the best thing to do." But I'm sorry to say, as the captain of the ship, I don't operate that way, and I'll stand my ground there. That when we service up with people, we want to service up with the right people. I need to know who's behind there. First of all, do they even have machines? I have not found another company who's so transparent like Genesis Mining. That's why I went with them in the first place, to be quite honest. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a plan B or plan C out there. I'm open-minded also, but I'm just expressing to you where I am and how I think about it right now. And there will be solutions as we move forward. The other alternative, of course, that people have, if you're making some good affiliate income right now on different things, you can always buy Bitcoin too, or part of a Bitcoin. You know, that's also the possibility, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. You don't have to mine for it if you want to keep building, or if you're mining for Ethereum, switch it over to get paid out in Bitcoin and those types of things. So that's just being transparent with you, Keithy. That's laying the cards on the table, mate, to let you know where we are. That's exactly what I want to hear from you, Bill. So thank you very much for that. Now, have you got time to hang around for a few minutes, or you got another You've got a meeting to call, haven't you? I'm going to text them, so I'll be here, Keith. Because I'm also really looking forward to hearing from Dr. Lee. We had the pleasure of having a call with him. Must have been 6 weeks ago now. I'm really looking forward to getting over there to meet him and Dr. Blue and the team, of course. Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, I guess what you've spelled out to the members is that we're involved with. We're a great company, and we want to be involved with great companies who are transparent, who have great business models, who are good to deal with, who are genuine people that we can do business with and grow together. So that's exactly what we need to hear, Bill. So thank you. Appreciate your openness. And
and you are the captain of the ship, and that's what we want you to be, mate. We don't want you to be the vice captain or the runner, in AFL term, mate. And you'd probably be happy that Richmond got up on the weekend if you're a Melbourne supporter.
I am a Richmond supporter, Keithy, but I didn't even know the grand final was on.
Oh, is that right? First time in 34 years, you probably forgot about the possibility, mate.
It was my son's birthday as well on Saturday, and I rang my mother, who was 90, of course, in Melbourne, and she said, "Oh, Richmond won the grand final." I said, "Oh, that's fantastic." I didn't even know that. That's I lose track of these things, unfortunately. But I'm also a bad spectator. I used to love playing Aussie rules football, but I get a bit impatient sitting there watching. But I love the game, and I love sports, and it's a great event, of course, in Melbourne. 100,000 people, 100,000 people seated in the stadium, all pretty well behaved. You know,
yep.
Not too many yobbos, which is fantastic in one respect, you know.
But it was also a great sporting story that, you know, sports reflect life in some way. That the Richmond club last year, they didn't perform too well, but the club, or in a case of a company scenario, they stuck together. They had good leadership. They had faith and belief in what they trained hard. They put the work ethic in. They turned up to do their business every day, which is training, fitness, nutrition, and they went through this season and finished in the top 4 teams of every other team in Australia. Then they got to the penultimate game, and they had the right game plan, and they came through and they overcame their opposition to become the #1 side in the land. And that's a great, I felt a lot of sort of feeling for them. What they're doing is what we're trying to do here at Swiss Gold Global. There's so many, there's so many people out there that are just waiting to be tapped on the shoulder and say, come and join our team, because we've got the leadership, we've got the motivation, we've got the energy, and we've got the right path, and you're the coach leading us to the premiership, Bill.
Well, you know, it's an interesting point in leadership, isn't it? What you really speak about here is leadership in one respect. And I know Dr. Dave is very big on this area here about leadership. And, you know, it's easy to jump ship. You know, here's a club that has not won a grand final in 35 years, I believe, even though I barrack for Richmond. Haven't won for 35 years. I can't even recall whether I was at the last grand final or not. But they won after 35 years. Persistence, vision, dedication, teamwork. You know, all these elements, you look at your own teams, Keithy and Claudia, of course, Dr. David and you know, Bitcoin Granny and Paul there. It's all about those same qualities, isn't it? You know, to have a sustainable, successful element. Now the harvest may not come for later on, you know, but if you keep sowing seeds with integrity and with real leadership, that harvest, it must come. We just don't know, but we know when it comes from us. Of course, you get paid out daily. And what do you have to do for that, Keithy?
Nothing, Bill, nothing.
So, but anyway, I'll be quiet now. I've taken enough time, and I know Dr. David got up at 4 a.m., which is really fantastic. It's really commitment. You struggle to get me out of bed at 4 a.m., so I'll let you go and back over to David.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Well, that's just everyone. We've got a lot of people watching. Some great comments. Ken's said, you know, with a focus on Bitcoin mining, there are the other coins out there. They're all starting to grow. Where you look at CoinCap.io, all the coins, most of the coins are in the green, the top 20. There's over 800. I'll just give you one more question for you, Bill. How many ICOs? I think you mentioned at the call yesterday. It was 800. How many now?
No, what I was saying, no, I don't know how many ICOs. That's an initial coin offering, of course.
Yeah.
This is the whole discussion in itself. It really, I'll just touch on this briefly because a lot of people can get really caught up into this because there's so much with our communication today on Facebook and different things. There's lots of noise out there. Now, if I go back to the 1990s, and again, I mentioned Paul and yourself remember this, you know, they will talk up a stock. This stock called ABC is going to be the best stock. It's going to be a game changer. And of course, people buying at 5 cents or 0.5% or something like that. And of course, you know, people buy in. And they build up the price to maybe 2 or 3 cents or 5 cents. They've made, you know, significant millions upon millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden they start selling what they're promoting. This is what happens in some ICOs. I'm not saying in all ICOs, but does the world really need another coin? I mean, there's already about 1,200 cryptocurrency coins out there. And, yes, there can be, and maybe one of those coins from these ICOs is going to be the next Bitcoin. We don't know. But all I'm saying is, people do your due diligence, and there's nothing wrong. If you've got a few hundred spare dollars and you want to buy, and an ICO comes up and it's 0.5% or something like that, and you think and you know about the technology and you know it's the real deal, maybe it's good to put a little bit in as a bit of a speculative play. But as long as you know it and understand that it's a speculative play, maybe that's okay. But also look who's behind the company. That's also, I think, very, very, very important. But I'm not a wealth advisor, okay? I'm more of a streetwise type operator, but you need to do your due diligence and do your research. And just, when you pull that trigger to buy, ask yourself the question, what's triggering that buy emotion? Is it the fear or greed emotion that's making you do it? Do you have the right knowledge to pull that trigger? Do you need to do more research? I think these are just simple questions you should ask yourself, and you'll protect yourself and your family from losing unnecessary money. But I'm also for, of course, being engaged in these things, Peter. But this is where the regulation's starting to come in, because there's lots of companies out there, of course, promoting ICOs, raising tens of millions of dollars, no question, of people's money, and they don't build anything. It's nothing. It's a white paper,
Yeah, that's it. All right, fantastic. Thank you. All right, David. Before you nod off to sleep, mate, we'll get a bit of information from you. What you got planned coming up? It's just kicked over. It's the 2nd of October, so that means we've got basically 90 days till the end of the year, roughly. So it's 3 months. So I asked last week what the panel had for a business plan for the next 90 days, what they're planning with their teams, with their groups. Now sounds like you've got your hands full with all these events. Can you give us, because it's the first time we've had someone from the US on, you haven't got that many people living in the US. I know it's a very, very small country of 350 million people. Maybe 10%, 35 million know about Bitcoin, which leaves 90% just focused on the greenback in their wallet, which is losing value every year for all countries around the world, their fiat currency. What's happening for you, mate, in the next 90 days with your planning and your teams? If you can let us know all about that, it'd be great.
Well, that's actually a great question. And I'll say this, I've been enjoying just, gleaning from Bill's knowledge. He's spoken quite a bit about our company, and, like I know, and I want to just touch on this a little bit, if you don't mind. You talk about leadership, and, there may be someone who's watching this in a country we never even considered, who has some questions about the competency of the leadership of this company. And my hope is that they're hearing exactly what I've heard, not just the passion, because many people, they start ventures and initiatives and they have a great deal of passion, but they don't really have the raw materials, the competence, right? That fuller understanding of what it takes in order to not just to be successful themselves, because we see enough of that, but to help those individuals who support them to be successful as well. So, my one of my big five, if you will, if I'm going to attach myself to anything, is to know that the leadership is competent. Because Bill mentioned one thing that I think is really important. He talked about, that stick-to-itiveness. We're not a get-rich-quick company. Dr. Blue and I, we've had some discussions as early as yesterday, about the long-term plan for creating wealth with this company, and really painting that picture for those individuals who are members with our company here in the US. So, just to be able to hear Bill slow the pace down just a little bit and paint a realistic long-term picture for us, I think is important. He's not throwing around a lot of big numbers, right? Someone who's maybe tuned into this that's looking for, some projections numbers wise, well, you're probably just not going to get that from us, because that simply isn't our MO. That's not our approach to this company. We're talking about building long-term generational wealth. And let's face it, if that's the goal for anyone in any arena, real estate, you know, and in the finance area that we're in, it takes some time in order to do that. And it takes a great deal of maturity, patience. You got to have the right people in the right places in order for that organization to build deep and strong and wide, if it's going to last another 10, 20, 30, 40 years, if it's going to stay the course. So I believe, and we believe here in the US, that we have that type of competent leadership at the top. In Bill, of course, as well as in Claudia. And when we look throughout the ranks of our company, individuals such as yourself, Keithy, even Prem. I mean, there are many individuals who are emerging, and they are the types of individuals that you would say, you know, I'd follow them into just about any type of business venture because I trust what they're saying. I trust what they're doing. So the next 90 days, what does that look like for us? It's groundwork. I think it's a lot of what we've been talking about today. It's education. We are identifying our leadership and key players here for the US. Obviously, we're going to get some lift once Bill and Claudia come here in collaboration with Dr. Blue and really start to define this opportunity for that 35 million or so that you mentioned here in the US who've never heard of Bitcoin. You know, I speak to people literally every day. My mom, she's not a Bitcoin granny, but you know, because that title's already taken, so we got to come up with something for her. But she's so proud to be able to build and store wealth and preserve wealth for her grandchildren, you know, that she's sharing this opportunity with everyone. And she passes me the phone. She'll call me and say, David Lee, I got someone I need you to talk to. I don't know how to explain it to them, but I need you to talk to them. You know, so she's one of our biggest recruiters, and she doesn't know a lot about the business. All she knows is that she's earning every day in cryptocurrency, and that she has a couple items that have a store of value. All she knows is she has gold and she has silver, and it's working for her. So our aim in the next 90 days really is, you know, it's a multiplicity of things. And part of that really is just to identify our leadership team, you know, across the country in the different areas where we're building, and then to educate our leaders and to educate our members about exactly what it is that we're doing. You know, there's a lot of information out there. Bill is absolutely right. There are lots of companies, lots of, you know, opportunities, you know, that are quote unquote competing opportunities. But I think when you really look under the hood and, you know, identify what those opportunities really are, the investments that it take, the leadership team behind those opportunities, you know, I think it would give some people reason to give pause before they not just commit their monies, but commit their energies, commit their life, you know, to bring their families in to talk about what they're doing, maybe with those opportunities. Now, we happen to have the type of organization with this particular opportunity. We have the trifecta of wealth building. We have cryptocurrency, we have gold and silver, but we don't have to build our brand by bringing other brands down. Our brand simply stands on its own. It's Swiss Gold Global. We have some very key strategic partnerships in Genesis Mining, which I got a chance to watch some of the broadcast on yesterday as well, for as long as it was being broadcasted on Facebook Live. And, you know, just to know our associations, what is that circle, that sphere of influence look like for us at the top? What do those business relationships look like? So anyone who's really taking a serious look at this company, we urge you not just to look at our company, but to look at those partnerships that we have. These are key partnerships. They're very matured relationships, very solid, very strong. Check out the leadership, you know. Keithy's there in Australia, Claudia's in Germany, Bill's in Switzerland, along with Bitcoin Granny. I mean, and I'm here in the US. So anyone in just about any of these countries and abroad, you know, you can do very well knowing that you have a support base, a solid, strong support base that can help you get through those ups and downs that Bill talked about a little bit earlier, knowing that the leadership team is competent. We're here to stay the course. We aren't expecting to get rich overnight. Our aim and goal over the next 90 days, and I would broaden that even, Keithy, in terms of what we're doing as a company, you know, over the next several years, is simply to build wealth. and to put that wealth, in the hands of everyday common individuals, something that you simply don't see, from different establishments globally.
Well, mate, that's a very, very powerful statement, what you've done, and very, very true. Every single word is true. And that's what we can just all echo that to as many people as possible. It's the same old thing. You've got to talk to everybody about what we're doing at Swiss Gold Global, Bitcoin, gold, silver, Argo Horizon, the company we deal with there, all top tier companies, including yourselves. So just got to spread the word, spread the love, and people, well, some people take a little while to understand, as Bill said, the way the business works, and it's a case of, I always go back to, you also have things in your life that remind you of a key moment. I'm a qualified Australian soccer coach or football coach, and one of my mentor coaches played for Chelsea in the 70s, and the thing about learning a skill or learning a business, he said, was just repeat. Just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And little bits of information get in. Just tell your story, but you can change the words around and deliver the same message in different ways. And eventually people will get it. Some people get it straight away. Some people, like me, took me a while to get the Swiss Gold Global message. As Prem mentioned yesterday, it took me a number of months of watching videos, listening to people, and then the penny dropped, and then I joined. So it takes people different varying times then to understand your message. But the key point is keep telling people the message, keep talking to people every day. Fantastic, David. Great to have you on. We'll get back to you in a minute. Claudia, I know you're in the in England there after the event. Can you give us a bit of feedback on how you felt the event went, and then also move into what Bill mentioned before about Dash and Monero and Litecoin? You're our sort of resident cryptocurrency queen as far as all the ups and downs, because you've got everything. You've got contracts and everything. So perhaps you can give us some information on that, please.
Sure, I can. Well, one of the things I did ask the audience last night in the dinners we had with the different people was, what did you take away from this event? So what was it? And honestly, most of them, they said integrity. They found a company which they can associate with, where you really see the honesty, the leadership, the integrity. And it's a word which is so seldom found in today's fast-moving world, is integrity. And I was glad to hear that. So I really, really felt that. And that's really, we see the profile of people coming on board, very savvy business people who had lots of success in their careers. But they join us. They don't need to join us because they already made a lot of wealth. And they're still joining us because they just really want to get on this train of cryptocurrency. They love the company. They love what we do. Well, look at Bitcoin Granny. I mean, Bitcoin Granny, obviously, she gets a lot of gold and silver besides the cryptocurrency, because gold, we know, gold is not taxable. And so when she passes it on to their children, well, which one day will happen, they have money in their account, which is really, really big thing. So. And then they're diversified in the cryptocurrency. Now, as you know, I'm involved in cryptocurrency since with Swiss Gold Global we have it, and even before. I have contracts and everything. I mean, I love my Dash. I just really want to have Dash back, and we're gonna have Dash back soon. But at the same, so I mean, Dash. I bought Dash when it was at $4, something like that, and Dash went over to, what is it now, $315. I mean, so I believe very much in the project of Dash. So I'm definitely accumulate more. I'm getting great returns on my Dash. I'm getting great returns on my Ethereum. I'm gonna and I had all of them paid out, of course, in Bitcoin. Now I'm actually happy that I can get them paid out in the actual coin myself. So I actually now already get it in my Dash. I got it in my Litecoin, which is great because I'm diversifying further. And as soon as all those contracts come on, well, I can tell you most of my commissions, which I'm making, it's going to go into obviously gold and silver, that's always the case. But they're going to go into diversifying further and spreading further those cryptocurrency, because I do really believe in those concepts. I mean, you have Dash ATMs all over the world now. There's more and more Dash ATMs coming out. There's now prepaid debit cards coming out in Ethereum, in Dash, in Zcash. So there's a lot of education which we have to do for our members, where they can get this information, where those ATMs are located, where those prepaid cards, where they can get at them, so which we will do in our upcoming trainings. We don't have time now into that, but they are certainly solidified cryptocurrencies, which definitely play a huge role, and they are absolutely undervalued, still very much undervalued. So I believe there's going to be a huge run in the next few months. I think Ethereum is big time through to a break, so they is on the verge on a big breakthrough. I believe that with all my education and research and study I do into the cryptocurrency. So I believe it's just over $300 now, the Ethereum. And that was the big thing. So if it reaches and stays over 300, it really has a huge leg upwards, which I believe it's going to come in the next few months. So I'm big on that. But my fundamentals is, of course, they don't change. So I believe in cryptocurrency in the future. And we are still, as you hear Marco, we are in baby steps. So we are in baby shoes. So where this is going to be in 1 year, in 2 years, I'm not so much worried about the return I get. I'm really not so much. I don't even look at it, honestly. I don't look at this. What I want is I want to get more of those cryptocurrencies. So I want to get more of those. So I'm looking at how many I have. I don't look at the return. I look how many Ethereum, how many Dash, how many Litecoin I do actually accumulate. That's what I look at. So I'm not so much at the return.
Okay, fantastic, Claudia. Great insight as always. There's a lot to be excited about, and what everyone's the general picture we can all get is that we're just in the first lap of a marathon, and we've got to pace ourselves and keep our energies going and feed our bodies and keep going and talk to lots and lots of people, because the race has just sort of started. The finish line is years and years away, and if we run a good race, then we'll enjoy a good life, and we'll be able to help many people along the way. Just before we finish off, because we just hit the hour mark, which is a little bit late for us, I'll swing to you, Paul. Next sort of 3 months for you on the Gold Coast. I know we've got these kiosks we saw the other day, so there's lots of exciting new parts of the business evolving as we speak on a weekly basis. And like you said, your local newspaper, you showed me a couple of clips when I was down there last week of all these Bitcoin stories turning up in the local newspapers. Pretty amazing. So what else is happening for you maybe in the next 3 months?
Yeah, now that all these every week you see something. That's every day you pick up a newspaper. My education. That's what David was talking about before, and that's what we'll be doing for the next 90 days. If David's got some spare time, maybe he can come over to the Gold Coast and he can spread the word around the way he just did then. It was pretty enlightening, and get him up on one of our get him to Jupiter's and speak about the way he can get that message out there. Another big thing that that Claudia just brought up too about the cards. A lot of people want to know, how do I get the money out? How do I, okay, you tell me all about the Bitcoin and that, but where do I spend it? Which card do I use? So that's the other education side of it. So we educate about the crypto side, but we also educate about which wallet you should use and how you can get your money out of and once they've got that in their head, then the whole thing gels and falls together.
All right, mate. Well, part of that is obviously in different countries, there's different providers of wallets. I've joined, as you know, CoinJar, that's an Australian company. So I use this. I have been using this card. It's actually my second card because I wore the first one out for using it so much. This is basically Bitcoin transferred into Australian dollars. So I buy my coffee. I bought my coffee at the shopping centre today. I filled up petrol or gasoline, and you're part of the woods, David. And buy my groceries. I went to the local supermarket and swiped and bought my groceries. But also I can go to the ATM and take out Australian dollars. So like Paul says, we're trying to teach people that it's easy enough to set up a wallet anywhere in the world. Some have cards like this, some don't. And you can have your earnings coming back. Now, Swiss Gold Global pay me every day via Genesis Mining into my CoinJar account. So I get a daily payout. Yes, I can store that and keep Bitcoins building, or I can just basically live on Bitcoin, which I do at the moment. So that's a fantastic thing. And like Bill said about talking to people, when I buy the coffee and when I pay for my groceries, I always ask them, and that's something you can get into the habit of, do you accept Bitcoin? Or can I pay with Bitcoin? Or do you mind if I pay for that with Bitcoin? And one or maybe two now, just noticed a difference in the last 4 or 5 weeks, that it used to be 1 out of 10 would say, okay, that's cool, or awesome, and 9 wouldn't have no idea what I'm talking about. It's just starting to change. So people are just starting to be aware of Bitcoin. It's maybe about 2 out of 10 people for me now. And that's a great starting point and a conversation to talk about cryptocurrency. It's just starting to creep into the mainstream media, just in bits and pieces. Paul's mentioned about the local newspaper, our local news channel, the government-run Australian Broadcasting Commission, ABC. They mentioned Bitcoin a number of months ago on the financial report. Only mentioned it once, so it hasn't sort of come back again, but it's leading in. So we are on the cusp. So as Bill said, it's a long-term strategy for generational wealth and building wealth. So we do have the plans in place, and we're getting there bit by bit, slowly by slowly, with the right partnership. So I'll just get everyone to say a farewell, because it's 5 past the hour. We've been an hour and 5 minutes. We've had some people staying. We've got some great questions and people liking and positive comments, and that's the main thing, that our family of Swiss Gold Global people around the world are just growing and growing and growing in a positive way. Like-minded people all getting together. So looking forward to the next, and reports and live feeds from your Hangouts, David. So we'll just finish off with you, starting with you. The events, they'll be fantastic, mate. So we hopefully will get you to do Facebook Lives on those, so we can all get up early or late and hang in those. But thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate getting up early for you, and much great energy for yourself and your team coming up, mate.
Well, thank you, Keithy. I really appreciate it. You know, this has been awesome, fantastic, and I'll keep it short. Just a quick plug on the actual event dates. It's going to be Saturday, October the 14th at the Westin Hotel here in Dallas, Texas. That's 10:30 till 3. And then that following week, Saturday, on October the 21st, you guys got to come out and see Bill and Claudia and Dr. Blue. You got to come out and meet these wealth building experts. That's going to be at the Waverly Hotel on the 21st there in Atlanta, Georgia. And then on October the 28th, we're going to be in Connecticut. Now, the venue is to be determined, but that event is absolutely going to happen. And all of those are on Saturday from 10:30 until 3:30. And, you know, we're looking forward to having you guys on board with us and joining this wonderful company.
Okay, thank you very much, Claudia. Thanks very much, as always. You've been in the hotel lobby there. You love hotels, Claudia, don't you?
Yeah, well.
You've got more stamps in your passport than I've had hot dinners. So.
Probably. No, it was great. I was all those people this in the morning. Of course, now I have to say goodbye. They're leaving to their destinations. We had people from so many places coming, you know, even flying in from Ireland and so on. So this is really great to see the commitment, you know. It's just fantastic to see that, and from all walks of life. I mean, there's no business which is more grateful than having such a business, because you really appreciate, I mean, the hope, you know, the what really it's the hope that people have to turn their lives around, to build a generational wealth. That's just, I don't know, you can't really describe it in words. It's just fantastic to see, and that's what we have. So that's why I'm since now 10 years in the company, and I have a long-term vision. So certainly 10 years already has been a long-term vision, and my long-term vision is for the next 10, 20, 40, 50, 60. I mean, I'm going to live to 120, so you're going to see me till that around.
You're going to be the new Bitcoin granny in about 70 years. I mean that in the nicest way, Claudia. Paul, thanks very much for coming on again, as always, mate. Great information about the Gold Coast. There's only 500,000 people on the Gold Coast, so there's a lot of people to talk to, mate. You better get busy.
Mate, I got the Cruiser Club. What's they call themselves? The Gold Coast Cruiser Club. Big motorbike organisation down here on the Gold Coast. Very interested in Bitcoin and Swisscloud Global, of course.
All right, fantastic. All right, thank you, Paul. And to finish off, Bill, really appreciate your time. And tonight was no different. We always seem to try to extract a bit more information out of you. And tonight you gave us more information, but you also gave us a roadmap of where you want this company to go, which a roadmap that's easy for people to follow. And you're a down-to-earth, straight-up type of bloke, which is an Australian acronym of a top person or a really knowledgeable guy that can help a lot of people. And obviously, we all have the same theory as you. Just help as many people as you can, and then in the end of the day, that will help you in return. So thank you, Bill, for coming on and spending your time with us again.
Well, thank you, Keithy. And we're here to serve. That's really our purpose. We're here to serve and do it with integrity and the best of our ability. And thank everyone really for their trust and their vision and their support. And yes, let's move forward and prosper and live a good, comfortable, live a good life, healthy life. So I really appreciate all that you do down under there, Keith. I look forward to getting back there. I probably won't get back there now until the new year, but I look forward to joining yourself. And I'm sure Dr. David, they would love to get to the Gold Coast. I mean, it's a beautiful part of the world. So this is the great thing about this is a global business, isn't it? You can travel globally. It's tax deductible. It's business. And I've been doing this probably for 30 years, traveling the world. And it's all been for business. I mean, that's the way to live life, isn't it? So, and when you go to bed tonight, Keith, you wake up in the morning, you've created more wealth. Not many people do that. They actually, they're going to work trading the time for money, which is nothing wrong with that. They're providing a service, which is fantastic. But if you're not trading that time for money, you're not earning, and of course, so this is really one of the key factors of building long-term exponential wealth is to be able to, earn while you're sleeping. And that's what we're all about here at SGG.
Fantastic, Bill. Yeah, that's earning while you're learning. That's the number one. And then when you tell people that you're operating a business and you're actually earning while you're asleep, most people want to know more right from that point onwards. They love that concept of earning while you're asleep. Been another great hangout, folks. Really appreciate everyone on the panel for joining us today. Thank you for all you folks. I've got my other screen running here. Been some great positive comments there. And we're only just starting. So we've got gold, silver, cryptocurrencies. We're going to get more contracts on board. So start diversifying into all the other crypto coins. And then look at as a free customer. Then if there's one gentleman, Kenny, is just asking about a video explaining bits and pieces. Now I might be able to put something together there about starting as a free customer and buying some contracts, understanding the business. Then as Bill rightly said about the affiliate side, where for the $50 a month, you get more contracts built into that, but also the ability to grow a team and grow repetitively affiliate wealth coming into that, which you can put into gold and silver or put into more crypto mining contracts. So it's just an evolving company and we're all part of it. It's all fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, folks. We can leave it there now.
One last thing, Keith, if you don't mind, I actually didn't touch on, I probably should. I had a meeting with the actually the leaders hijacked me, to be quite honest, on Saturday night, and in a good way. Now we had a leadership meeting, of course, and you know, the whole point is it's not so easy, you know, business to understand. There's so many different factors. So we've got to make it, you know, to transfer this bit of information. We've been talking for over an hour now and trying to speak to someone and tell them what we actually have and how they can become engaged. We've got to make that very, very, very simple so anyone can get it, to be quite honest. And we're probably not the best at doing that. I mean, I'm talking about myself, I should say. So, you know, we had a good leadership meeting on Saturday night. We weren't just hanging in the bar before the day event. We actually worked. And we're going to be, in fact, with the leaders, I said to the leaders, we can keep developing things for you, but there's nothing worse than the company developing things that the people think this is trash. This is not what we really want. So it's just to get things developed from what the people want. So the leadership team have gone away themselves, and they're going to come back with an architecture of a funnel process that will actually make it very, very easy for anyone, whether you're a Bitcoin granny or whether you're a teenager starting out, to actually push the message of who we are, what we are, and how to get engaged and win from this game of SGG. So that's going to be our priority over the next 8 weeks, among other things, to have a new website and process and video to make it very easy for our members around the world.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, we are evolving, so it's great. And you're leading from the front very, very well indeed, Bill. Appreciate all your time and effort. That's it, folks. Time to go. Spread this link to all your teams, because you need to hear from everybody what they've said on the panel tonight. It's all very, very important and exciting information about going forward. So thank you, folks. We'll see you next week, and have a prosperous, exciting, energizable full week in our business and your life. Have a good one. See you on the next one. See you. Bye-bye, folks. Bye-bye.